Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. I said shalom, Mr. Q. What's going on? Shalom, Deontay. Shalom, Tony. Welcome back. Was just testing it out. I had a day off to handle something very important, and then was just looking at what it would be like to hop on Thursday. You know, see a lot of people streaming all week. You know what I mean, and teaching craziness. Was just looking at what it would be like to hop on teaching craziness and talking craziness and crazy news. And I just felt like my wife and I was discussing just the necessity to talk more, to be in more communication with everybody, for all of us to talk constantly like the scriptures say. Shalom, Sister Paula. I know on Saturday and Sunday we have the Messiah's pre-existence coming up, learning about why he's the only begotten. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But one of the things is that no, I didn't have a meeting. I sent him an email. I wrote him, just waiting for him to respond. He told me when. I told him all the dates, and he said he's not free on those dates except for a few dates. So I'm just waiting for his response. You had an interview at 6:30 when? Today? Mr. Q, you had with who? Today is Thursday, so it's probably with Brother Rick. Shalom, shalom, Richie James. Yeah, so keep praying for that meeting with Corey Minor. I emailed him, told him, if he emails me back soon, then it'll probably be happening sometime tomorrow. But if not, I may have to wait until the following week. All right. Well, I'm gonna contact Rick and let him know that you was on and it's interesting. It was time you said 6:30. All right, I'm gonna see if I could contact him. Shalom. It says she. Shalom, she. All right. So one interesting thing I noticed, Richie James is here. You guys had some really good questions popping up about different things. So I figured, we come on, just have a little fellowship conversation. Shalom, Ray. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Shalom, emissary. So Richie James, you had some good questions. You wanna see if you could pull out some good questions? Is there any? I'm pretty sure everybody has some good questions tonight. Just based off of what we studied throughout the week. But I saw some I saw a lot of really good comments on the videos this week. It's not really that easy for me to answer certain deep questions on like typing in the chat on YouTube, on especially on the bottom of the YouTube videos. It's easier to kind of break it down even more thoroughly in online, live. So I encourage you guys to comment on the videos, but if it's too in depth, I really want you guys to bring those to the live conversation as well. Shalom, brother Charles. All right, brother Deontay, go ahead, brother.
Shalom, brother. I just had a question about like what do you use to record?
What do I use to record?
Yeah.
Um, Zoom.
You can record on Zoom?
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of that before because I know the thing that I use is OBS, and on OBS you can stream and record from OBS on different stuff. And when
Mm.
you're actually streaming, it'll show like a side window of all the comments on YouTube and whatnot.
Hmm.
I want to look into that.
I would like to try that. It does it take is it my internet is probably not. I don't think I could afford that much speed on my internet.
I
So,
don't I don't think it's that heavy on the internet.
okay. I can check out OBS. Somebody told me about OBS a while ago,
Yeah.
but it started warping my brain. I'm trying to figure it out, but I'll try to figure it out. Now, so you just confirmation about it. So what kind of like different type of like things I can do on it? Like what kind of things I can do on it that makes it beneficial?
Well, I can't stream yet on my channel at least because I'm not at 50 yet. But when you do stream, um, at least from what I know is that you can stream and like as soon as you finish recording a video, like directly upload it up to YouTube. And with OBS while you're streaming, you know how like when you're in Zoom and it has everyone's face on the side of your screen right here, you can see who's there. It's kind of like that, but with the actual YouTube comments, so you don't need to keep clicking between tabs to see the comments and stuff.
Mm. Oh, so you could put it all in one.
Yeah,
That's what the other software was doing that I had, the Restream,
yeah.
but
But with oh, sorry.
it was taking kind of it was lagging a lot.
Yeah, I get you. It's the thing, I don't know why I was lagging. Again, that all depends on what you have, your hardware and whatnot.
Yeah,
But I know
probably something on my computer.
with OBS too, like instead of having to go to Zoom so people can see you, you can just put your face in like the corner of it and just be on one thing instead of having
Mm.
like three different things open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like right now, I have my two screens, so I have
Yeah.
the YouTube up, and then I have the Zoom on here.
Yeah. But with
Mm.
OBS, you can literally just put like in the corner your face and then what you're actually viewing,
I'm gonna
on.
check that out
Right.
right after we finish. I'm gonna check it out.
All right.
Thank
No, I
you. I
just want to put it
appreciate
out there.
that.
Yeah.
Anything to help maximize, maximize the use, to
Mm.
do this better, more efficiently. That I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Shalom, Sister Denara. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget to like and share. Well, like and share the video. I'm starting to realize now. I understand why they say, "Hey, like, share, comment." Because now I'm starting. It's like I'm getting a lot of responses. People that probably never even heard the take of the some of the videos that we've been discussing, especially the live videos. So um the oneness and Trinity videos have been spreading around since there's been comments and things like that. So I encourage you guys make some comments. It allows it to be suggested. So now I'm understanding. It allows the video to be suggested for other people searching for that type of content. So when we do the studies, like the one that we're doing this Saturday is going to be the Messiah. Messiah before he came to Earth. There's a lot of people discussing that as well. There's a lot of topics I'm noticing people are discussing frequently. So um, the more we could push this content, the more people can get to it, hear something, and ask a question and get their questions answered, and that would definitely be a blessing. Shalom, Sister Kim. Welcome. Brother Charles. Go ahead, brother.
Shalom, you hear me?
Yes.
All right now. What's going on, Ox and Akathaz? I just want to say, brother, if you can, I don't know how it's gonna go with you and the brother
Yeah.
when you go on this show. Um, if you could record it yourself as well, if that's what you could do. But if not, just be looking out for cut clips of what
Yeah.
y'all was discussing, because that can be deceit right there. They can cut the
Oh yeah, yeah.
tape
I'm
and
a,
make
I'm
things.
gonna I'm gonna ask if I could record it. He should be honorable and let me record it, but most likely he's gonna let me record it.
All right, and this is the last thing I want to say for right now. Whether it helps for us or me down the line trying to figure out something else different that'll help me. So you know how you say, without understanding something, you would just be doing things, right? So
Yeah.
then go back to basic school things. On some things that we be talking about and having subjects, I believe now it's time for at least me, when, where, how, why, or wisdom, knowledge, and then understanding. Or
Right.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is knowledge brings
With
just in
all
order,
with all
just
your
so I can.
wisdom, get understanding, man. With all your
Right.
wisdom, it says get understanding. Go after understanding. It's the most wisdom is the principal thing. Understanding is the application. Is what makes wisdom real. It's what
And
makes wisdom seen, by other people.
basically because a brother, he an older guy, he's Islam, but he tried to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, and according to my word, and you gonna try to tell me what I'm supposed to do? Wait, hold on now, hold on, wait. First, when somebody approaches me, he asks me something. I said, How would you give somebody an answer if they came to you and asked them, what do you believe? And they'll be like, this is the law. And then you'll say, I would say, they'll be like, what is the law? And where you get that from?
Right.
And see,
Right.
that's all I'm trying to get at. So when people, if they ask you or somebody asks us, all I'm trying to get to you, if you could one day, somebody's going to say, what is the law? All right, this is the law. Where is it at? Here it goes. What is it for? Who is it
Oh yeah.
for? You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
to
That's a
make it
part of
easier. But
the that's
that's
a
all.
part of
Praise
the
God, brother.
absolutely, man. That's a part of the university that we starting, you know, on Saturday and Sundays. The law is in its own category. I have after we deal with the Father and Son, we're gonna deal with the law, the covenants, and we're gonna try the gospel. We're gonna try to make it super simple. Somebody actually just asked that in the chat, so we may be touching into that. Brother Tony just asked about that in regards to witnesses. So I'm gonna try to break it down right now. So let me go to Deontay. No, we don't normally do this on Thursdays. The more that people join, the more that people join, I would say, is the more that's going to enable us to do this more days during the week. You know what I mean? This is just I had to take off today, and just since I took off, me and my wife was talking. I was just like, you know, should put more strength into encouraging y'all's people and also serving y'all's people, teaching and fellowshipping and talking. and so we definitely want to do this every day, but it definitely depends on how many people join the membership on YouTube. So if you guys feel compelled to join the membership on the YouTube, join, like, share, subscribe. It allows it to go out. But yeah, this is like a special day, special free night that we just hopped on. Um, Shalom, Sister Tina, and you don't have to worry about missing anything. That's why it's all recorded. It's all free. I see some of you got a couple questions on there. So let me go to Brother Deontay before I go to the first question.
Shalom again. I apologize because my allergies are really kicking my butt right now, and
Oh
so
no,
I'm
you
a
good.
little, I know. Please bear with me. But did you ch end up checking out those Hebrew Gospels at all?
I didn't check them out. I was looking at it on my phone, and it's interesting. You're not the only one. Um, I'm not sure if I think it was
Yeah,
Sister Paula sent me an email about the Hebrew Gospels.
yeah.
What about it? Because now I could just go to it now.
Um, I mean, there's
No.
a lot in there. Let's put it that way. But I
Hmm.
think the thing is that like there's what the people who discovered it saying for example the Gospel of John was found in the Vatican inside of a junk drawer, right? And I think that's just insane that they have these Hebrew manuscripts of these Gospels just lying around. Um, but one interesting thing about the Hebrew Gospels is just John 1:1, right? Which it's a little bit different than um
The Hebrew Gospels, yeah. There's
yeah,
certain things that
it's the same.
I
I
have
mean,
certain verses that's go tos, like they're my go to verses to test to see if they are Hebrew. Because
mhm,
I do know that there's a portion of Matthew written in Hebrew.
yeah.
And what used to happen specifically with the New Testament
Hmm.
is that when they found the portions, right, they
Hmm.
were able to kind of develop the majority of what it says
Yeah.
and with Aramaic and then Greek and stuff like that. Then the portions that they found, um, and then what happened was, which is why we have like 200 New Testament manuscripts.
Yeah.
What happened was certain people, such as Erasmus, was hired to kind of fill in the missing pieces.
Yeah.
So when you say the Hebrew Gospels, there's a few spots that I know that when they found it is missing, and
Hmm.
there's a few spots that I know that when they found it, they inserted certain ideas. So when I
Yeah.
check, like right now, I'm looking at the Hebrew Gospel here,
Yeah.
and it says Matthew 28, and it still says in the name of the Father, Son, and it says Ruach Hakodesh.
Yeah.
You know, the Matthew version says my name. It doesn't say Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Um, Also, the Vatican con- basically admits that in the second century they added this when they were going through the New Testament manuscripts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it; it's in the Hebrew manuscript. So I'm just wondering why would they put this in the Hebrew manuscript if this is based off of like it wouldn't seem like it's based off of an original copy.
Yeah.
It
I
would
get
have
what
to
you're
be
saying.
copied into Hebrew from whatever the Greek manuscripts that they had or that they
Hmm.
made. They would
Yeah.
just copy it into Hebrew, just like the
Ah,
Masoretic.
yeah.
The Masoretic text is copied into Hebrew from the Septuagint.
Yes.
You know,
There is one thing to note though, because on their actual website, they'll show you the
Mhm.
manuscripts. And what they did, the people who translated it, is they took, because there's four manuscripts that they have. They have,
Yeah,
you know, um, I forgot the names, but if you search it up, you can actually view the manuscripts themselves with the Hebrew on it. But what they did was they said they compared and contrasted them, and then, you know, put
yeah.
whatever fit. So again, that's why I said, view it through a skeptical lens because whatever doctrines
Yeah,
might
I
be
mean,
in
it doesn't matter that there's no, it doesn't mean that there's no points that's true. It just means
yeah.
that whatever, like when people have manuscripts, it doesn't mean that it's the whole entire book.
No, of course.
There was no whole entire books found in one spot. They would piece up multiple. There were some books, yeah, but there
Yeah, some
was,
of the Codex
yeah,
Sinaiticus, that's
especially
totally
the
different.
the Old Testament books
Yeah.
were more solid. They were more solid,
Yeah.
and found. The Codex Sinaiticus has, it's like more like a, it was already like a canon.
Yes.
It's an already made canon. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, the manuscripts that they found were not canonized. The Dead Sea Scrolls were not the canonized.
Yeah.
Those were uh just the manuscripts of each book found in the caves, right?
Yeah.
But like, so what I would do is, I'm looking at this. I know they got manuscripts. I know that. But as far as having the whole entire thing, I don't believe that there's a whole entire Matthew or John in Hebrew, the complete book of
Hmm.
John or the complete book of Matthew. So the reason why is because there's certain things I know they didn't find, and I know that they added. So I'm looking. If I look in this, I'll be looking for the things that they added. And if they added it, then I would have to just be careful with looking at the rest of it. It doesn't mean that the rest of it is not good. It just means that I already know that they added it because I already have the history on what was added.
Yeah.
So if I see Father, Son, Holy Spirit here in Matthew 28:19, I already know this is copying off of the Vulgate or
Yeah,
the
of course.
you know
But even with the manuscripts, I mean, they were in the Vatican's possession, and the Vatican added stuff like, First John 5, I think it was 5:3 with these three are one.
5:7,
They
yeah.
5:7, yeah. They
First
added
John
that
5.
in
Mm-hmm.
as like a side note, and then they were like, oh, we like this, so they added it in with the when they copied it down.
Right.
But one interesting point that I want to point out in this Hebrew gospel is, in John 1:36, in the Greek it says, "Behold the Lamb of God," but in the Hebrew one it says, "Behold the angel of Yahuwah," which is I
Yeah.
just thought that was kind of a cool thing. Which again, be skeptical about it,
You
but just
said John, which one?
136. And I thought that was just kind of cool, kind of like again, always be skeptical, always be searching, but I just that kind of aligns with everything else that we've been you know not hearing but like studying about how he was the messenger for
Yeah.
yeah, in the wilderness.
That's
But
it. That's interesting. That makes me want to go back
there's
and
there's a
check
there's a
that.
and there's a lot of stuff. And from my research about this is that there was I don't know if you heard of Shem Tov's Hebrew Matthew. It was the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew because back during when the Vatican had like a major control, then they would either kick out the Jews, kill them, or you'd have to debate them for your freedom. And so what the Jews did was they said that we need to have a Hebrew version of this gospel so we can debate these guys, and then that's how Shem Tov's Hebrew Matthew came into fruition. But the reason why most scholars don't necessarily consider it um, a legit translation is because they say that it undermines the deity of Christ.
Yeah.
Which I think it's
Which is, yeah.
it's that
So
because they're putting their doctrine into it. But
exactly, exactly.
but
So that's why I don't really trust, you know, canons. Like, they'd be like, how come they took this out of the Bible? Well, we're not supposed to really even have a Bible. We're supposed to have a library of scrolls,
yeah,
books, or different books, and then we needed to test each one. So
yeah,
even though they canonized, we still need to test to see if what they canonized was true. What they
100%.
canonized was right, and what were the nature of the books that they canonized.
Yeah.
So
Um.
it's even though it's a canonized book, you don't approach it like with safety. You still got to make sure things is lining up correctly.
Mhm.
Especially when some canons have the apocrypha, you gotta test those things. You still gotta test the translation, also the
Yeah.
English translation. Are they translating it correctly? So there's so many things that you still gotta right now they just throwing it up in the air. Oh, who gave you the Bible? Oh, the Catholic Church gave you the Bible. It's
Hmm.
like you didn't give us nothing. You binded the books together, and that's it.
Yeah.
They didn't give us nothing. They
Yeah.
wrote it in Latin so we wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
If you
So
want to
they
say
could
who
understand
who
it.
gave it to us is William Tyndale, Wycliffe, Luther. They're the ones that said, "Hey, let's give it to the regular people."
Yeah.
The Catholic Church wasn't trying to give it to the regular people. So
Yeah.
it's crazy that that's an argument. Like, oh, we gave you the Bible. Like,
No, you didn't. And one more interesting point about Shem Tobi Matthew is where the Messiah is saying, "You've heard it's been said, thou shalt not lust, but I say to you, whoever looks on one with lust," and
right,
things like that. When he goes to swearing falsely, he says, "It's been heard that you shall not swear falsely." And but instead of saying, "But I say unto you, do not swear at all," and the Shem Tob's Hebrew Matthew it says, "Do not swear falsely at all." And these are just like
right,
little differences that you know
right.
make up the
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah,
But on
yeah.
a separate note, did you hear what Trump's trying to do?
With what?
This whole Christian task force
Oh
to
yeah,
crack down
yeah.
on the persecution
You
of
know, it's
Christians.
crazy. I've been saying that for mad long. Like, I, my wife and I started a few fellowships, and some of those fellowships, people was like, Trump, and I was just like, Trump said this when it's in his first campaign. He's gonna give the Christian church more power.
Hmm.
In my mind, I'm already like, yeah, it's never going to be good.
No,
It's either the Democrats, which want to do some transgender free will, but
Satan.
if you talk too loud, we're gonna put you in jail type of attitude, versus some super Christianity to the point where you go to jail if you go against their Christian. Either way, we're gonna have some stuff that is gonna it may really affect us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people don't really remember, like, because how bad Biden was.
Hmm.
Trump is the one that started with the COVID tests. He's the one that was pushing for that at the jobs. He
Yeah.
was the one that was pushing search for people who didn't take it and give them the test by force. He was saying that. You see what I'm saying? Now I don't care which one of them is. Matter of fact, I think Trump got some really good tax stuff,
Hmm.
some really good money stuff. So if people are gonna start utilizing their finances properly, they better start taking advantage of the policies he's putting into place and then using their money wisely to promote their freedom and to use their money to promote their own self-sufficient, to be self-sufficient away from the government. Because by the Democrats are not going to allow you to be self-sufficient. The Republicans want you to be self-sufficient because they want to be self-sufficient. You see what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
the selfishness that the Republicans portray is good for us because whatever they get for themselves, we get to use. It's just that
Hmm.
we don't know how to use them.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the only thing. As far as in a religious aspect, um, the Democrats are going straight atheistic witchcraft type government.
Going anarchist,
And yeah,
Satanism
anarchy,
versus.
yeah, chaos, creating order through chaos.
Yeah.
And then you have Trump, which is like we're gonna. It's like
I say goes, basically.
whatever I say, go. Sure, I'll give you freedom to do this, freedom to do this, freedom to do this, but then I'm gonna give power to the churches.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's you're doing the same thing. You taking us back to the dark ages.
Yeah. And
So
to me, I'm sorry.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I said to me this sounds like prophecy being fulfilled, kind of like even in Revelations when it talks about which horse was it? The black horse with a pair of balances in his hand. And to me that's inflation. That looks like straight inflation to me. How it says a measure of wheat
Oh
for a
yeah.
dinar and three measures of barley for denarius, but don't hurt the oil and the wine.
Uh-huh.
You to get the stuff we need to live nowadays is
Oh
insane
yeah.
the prices on it. But you
Oh
can
yeah.
easily get liquor, you can easily get something to smoke, you can easily get a brand new TV so much cheaper and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I don't want to take up too much time, so I'll leave it.
No, no, you're absolutely right. I think sometimes people don't discuss these things in a proper context. Like it's gonna get to the point where either way, you're gonna have either way, it's a method of control.
Yeah.
It's just how 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 they are just as much as they want to be controlling, they are selfish. So what they want to do is to control in their own way. And the Democrats is like, no, let's control in this way. And the Republicans is like, no, let's control in that way.
Hmm.
Either way, they're gonna control.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna develop to um a government in which we need to rely on. But that's been
Mm.
for years. Like we don't need to rely on this government at
Mhm.
all. You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
So we need to make sure that we're becoming self-sufficient at least individually, so that way we can educate one another. Or
Hmm.
so I heard about that. When I heard about that, I was just like, of course.
Yeah. And the way I see it too is that what's going on within like Gaza and Israel right now, and they're quote unquote the real Jews to the people. What
Right.
and then you see the Republicans siding with the quote unquote Jews, and then the leftists hating them. I can see this going radical in either direction, where wherever the
Yeah.
Israelites say it goes, or we hate them and then
Uh,
we follow their law, quote unquote their laws, but we know it's the law of God, and they're gonna look at us and be like, "Oh, you must be a Jew. We hate you." You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
No,
I do.
exactly. Putting a bad taste in your mouth, even though they don't even follow Torah. Like they're not
Yeah.
following Torah. So, but the Torah is gonna have a bad taste. Hebrew, studying Hebrew, when they hear Hebrew names and stuff,
Yeah.
it's gonna automatically resemble what they think about uh,
Yeah.
Israelite stuff. So or Hebrew stuff.
Yeah, I
But
see.
it's gonna still be the Jewish people are like they can't be separated from this American government. That's what Zionists are.
Yeah,
Zionists are not, hey, give us our land. Zionists is we're gonna control all the land.
yeah,
That's Zionist mentality. That's how it started before the United Nations even gave them the land. They were already in Europe with the mindset like, yeah, we're gonna take over every place that we go, and that's absolutely true. I don't know if you guys know, like there were riots in New York because
hmm,
from the Jewish people. You
yeah,
know, the word ghetto comes from Jewish people in New York
mm,
because the word ghetto is that all the Jewish people took over one area and that was called the ghetto.
hmm,
It wasn't called the ghetto because of black people or Hispanic people. It was called the ghetto because the Jewish people took over. They bought buildings. They had their own hospitals, schools. They still do.
yeah. Which I think you talk about equality, this, quality, that, but then you're having subsections of people having their own special treatment. But
Right.
I did have an actual question about Revelations. Revelations, I think it's 6:9, where it talks about the altar of the souls.
Yeah.
What I'm like having trouble understanding what that is. And the way I think of it is how like Moses he's seen the tabernacle in heaven. Could it be like that's what the altar is that tabernacle in heaven? Because I know there's an altar in the actual tabernacle, but I'm just trying to fit the pieces together and they're not really.
Right. 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 Okay. So the altar here is referring to the altar of incense, though.
Mm,
Um, we said Revelation 6:9.
yeah, I think it's 6:9.
You're right. So under the altar were the souls of them slain for the word of Yah and for the testimony which they held. Right. And they cried with a loud voice. Now, this is just you know, one of the major important things is to be consistent with what you've been seeing. We just finished seeing the four horsemen. You
Hmm.
know, they're not really horses,
Hmm.
and the color as well as the description represent certain things. So sometimes people will go from that to this verse here and then just think that it's like something like a physically literal thing.
Hmm.
When that's not fair to the text. You can't be figurative all the way down here and then get literal here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So the altar that he has here, I believe it shows the altar was located somewhere else. Let me see if I could show you real quick in Revelation. The altar was also in, was it chapter 8? Yeah, there we go. So look at this. So chapter 8, look what the altar represents. So the seven trumpets are being ready, right?
Hmm.
And the angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. You know, the censer.
Hmm.
There was given, hold on one second. You see right here, there was given to him much incense
Hmm.
that should offer it with the prayers of all the saints on the golden upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
Hmm.
So it says here the smoke of the incense which came up with the prayers of the saints ascended up before Elohim out of the angel's hand. So this
Hmm.
is kind of like an emphasis on intercession. It says here the angel took the censer, filled it with the fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and earthquakes. So if you notice, he's throwing the incense, the fire from the incense into the earth, right?
Hmm.
So when you get here and he talks about the same altar, the prayers of the saints is coming from the earth.
Hmm.
So the altar is like a connection between the saints and I would say Yah's throne, because that's where the incense was in the tabernacle. It was right there. Um, it was right there, right before the Ark of the Covenant, which is the
Hmm.
throne. I hope everybody knows that the Ark of the Covenant represents the throne. That's why it's called the mercy seat.
Hmm.
So the altar, under the altar, is referring to the connection between Yah's throne room and the saints that were on the earth. So when it talks about how long, it's just referring to the the vengeance that was promised to them. I'm sorry, the vengeance that was promised to them from their persecution, from when
Okay.
they were killed. And Yah was in Revelation, Yah's trying to tell John to tell us that he's remembering the prayers of the saints that were slain,
Mm.
and he is going to take vengeance for them. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But so it's not saying like that people are like in heaven inside of like under like a little, I think the Catholic Church would use it to show like some type of righteous purgatory or something like that.
Yeah, like heaven or something with Abraham's bosom and all that. I guess.
Abraham's bosom, they try to take advantage of Luke 16. Abraham's bosom, they call it. But this is really like a earth heaven interaction. That's why in chapter 8, he's
Hmm.
telling you like how the interaction goes. It ascends like incense.
Yeah.
It ascends up to the throne. And then you see the angel taking the fire and throwing it down to the earth as a response to the
Hmm.
incense. So the idea that just because you see them like talking, or he says under the altar, it doesn't mean like a little pocket under the altar. I mean, like we are under him. We are under his altar even while we're here on this earth. Just like it says, anything that you do under the sun, like
Yeah.
earth is down. That's why it says earth is Yah's footstool. We are
Hmm.
under everything that he's doing up there.
Yeah.
So just to bring more clarity for the visual,
Yeah.
the altar is the figurative statement for the connection between the prayers of the saints and the throne room.
Okay.
And so you see the interaction between what Yah is sending with the messenger back to the earth.
Hmm.
Uh, you know,
That
and
makes more
that he will
sense.
avenge his people. It's just a matter of when you put all the literal verses together, it's gonna describe that.
Yeah.
If you can't put the figurative verses and mix it with the literal verses,
Yeah.
that's gonna bring like some type of crazy type of picture that sometimes you can't even put it together. It's like this is this time and then it's gonna happen again over here. And no. some of these things are talking about the same thing. Just one is a figurative statement, one is a literal statement.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I have more questions, but come back to me if there's any time left. I don't want to take away from everyone else. So,
Okay, no
good luck.
problem, no problem. Go ahead, Brother Charles. Then we're gonna go to some of the hands. Shalom, shalom, guys. Shalom, Sister Zara, Clayton G. Shalom, guys. Go ahead, Brother Charles.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom,
Yeah,
brother.
Deontay, you sure is taking up a lot of time, man. You ain't trying. You did already.
I'm hungry for the word. I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you,
All
Yeah.
good.
Deontay. I'm just messing with you. I'm glad you're here, brother. Oh man. So um, I was thinking about something y'all was saying about I'm gonna get back to a scripture or whatever, but I was thinking about something y'all was saying, and I know it sounded crazy when I first wrote down the meanings and the definitions and things, how it has Obama, abomination, how
Yeah.
that matches coincidentally because he gave the rights for the abomination to be married, it's like ever since then Satan has been sounding his trump, and Trump became the president, but it's 6 feet, sounding the trumpet to say 6 feet. Why not 7, 8, 9, 10? 6 feet. And then you got the Bidens, which means a weapon associated with hell, ruler of the underworld. He came after Trump with some type of punch. Let's say a punch. We're gonna call it the punch. You already know the shot. And then I looked at Kamala's name, and it all went back to a warning or a sign. It meant Lotus, and it also meant I forgot her name, but it ended up to Vishnu, which means she does the dance of destruction, and her husband is the evil one and all that. How this stuff adds up, and Fauci, his name means sickle, and then all the stuff that just kind of matching up is like y'all allow things to happen and put people in certain places so we can understand certain things. So when y'all was talking, I was kind of getting it. But my question my question for you is if man, how can I say this? If you have to come back to me. I can't even remember the question,
All
man.
right.
All right, let's come back to me. I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
I'm
no, you
crazy.
good. You good. All right. So we got a couple questions that popped up earlier in the chat. Sister Paula said Exodus chapter 23, 14 to 16. Only 3 feasts are mentioned. Oh, why is that? Okay. So it's not necessarily that only 3 feasts are mentioned in Exodus 23. It's interesting. The wording, I would say. So when you get to Exodus 23, it says 3 times you shall come keep a feast unto me in a year. And then it says, you shall keep the feast of unleavened bread, which includes Passover and first fruits. Right here, you shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days. And then it says, in the month of Abib, this is the time, Abib. Then it says, for in it you came out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. Then it says here, the feast of harvest, which happens in the 3rd month. From the 1st to the 3rd month is how you count from first fruits to Shavuot, feast of harvest, the first fruits of your labor, which you have sown in the field. So this is feast of harvest. Another word, Pentecost. Many people refer to it as Pentecost. In Hebrew is Shavuot for feast of weeks, and it's really referred to as the feast of harvest first initially. And then you have the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, which is the 7th month. So you have the 1st month, you have the 3rd month, and then you have the 7th month feast. Now the tabernacles is directly connected to all the feast that happens in the 7th month. And for instance, it tells you to keep the Feast of Ingath. But if you do not afflict your soul on a Day of Atonement, you will be cut off. You won't even get to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And usually the Feast of Trumpets was like a warning sound to indicate, listen, the Day of Atonement is coming. So the Feast of Trumpets was like a preparation call in the beginning of the 7th month to bring people to the Day of Atonement, which would make people aware of their sinfulness and things like that, to reconcile with Yah. So that way they can celebrate the ingathering, or the Feast of Weeks. The Feast of Tabernacles, which is also referred to as Sukkot, or the Feast of Booths. Right? So those are 3 times in a year: the 1st month, the 3rd month, and the 7th month. There are moments in these months in which you come before Yah. So it's not saying there's only 3 feasts, but there's 3 times that you were to come to Yah. So I when I first noticed that, it also helped me to see the correlation or the connection between the feasts. Trumpets, Day of Atonement, and Tabernacles is like one idea or one experience. Passover, unleavened bread is like one experience, and then you have first fruits, which brings you directly to Shavuot, which is one experience. You know what I mean? So that's all of them that's mentioned in Leviticus 23. Brother Tony, you said, make sure, Brother Tony, that you put your I didn't want to miss your question. Make sure you put it in all caps so that way I can see it. Everybody, make sure you put it in all caps. He says, how do you briefly describe the gospel that saves while street witnessing? Well, that's a good question. My wife and I, as well as a couple brothers, sisters, we used to preach on a train in New York. Like, we used to preach in the street and on a train in New York. It was an amazing experience, because it's kind of like we're just being us. It looked like this, like we were just talking to people and they wanted to engage. Jewish people, Buddhist people, gay people, just a whole bunch of just different people wanted to engage. So how do you approach one? Not by just yelling. It has to be intentional. You know what I mean? There has to be an intentional approach to it. It can't be that you're yelling to the air and hopefully somebody catches it. You know what I mean? I don't believe that's a proper representation of Messiah or the prophets or the disciples' method of preaching. I think that's what the church came up with, and so that's what they kind of, continuing. There's a similar method that I like. I forgot his name, man. He uses the commandments. I'm not sure. Ray Comfort. I think his name is Ray Comfort. It's funny, Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort, I believe, is partially utilizing the law correctly in spreading the gospel when he was preaching on the street. When I saw it, I was just like, this is, it's different when you're doing something privately, like when we're preaching in the street, and then you don't really see other people. So when YouTube was coming out and people were posting on YouTube and I saw that, I was just like, praise Yah, people were using it. Now, of course, he has to double back when somebody kind of gets a little bit more, when people emphasize on the law. So I'm not sure if you heard of him, Tony, Ray Comfort, where he teaches, where he shows you how wicked you are by using the 10 Commandments. So the gospel has to be, let me show you. So the gospel has to be connected to the problem. And the only way that you can't show the problem unless you define it. People are saying forgive you of your sins, and they never define sins. So look at Matthew 24, right? Verse 14. It says here, this gospel of the kingdom, this gospel, that means the one that Messiah preached. The gospel that Messiah preached of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all the nations. Then shall the end come. This gospel, meaning the gospel that Messiah is preaching. So let's look at a few instances, right? Matthew chapter 3, John the Baptist preaches, and he says here, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The gospel, this gospel of the kingdom is repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, if you go down, you're going to see Messiah in chapter, I believe it's chapter 4, is it? So Messiah begins to preach in Matthew 4:17. And he says, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The apostles start to preach the gospel in Acts chapter 2. And the gospel, he lifts up his voice and he says, he goes in a little bit in depth. He says, where is it? Here we go. So he says, therefore, let all the house of Israel know assuredly that Elohim made the same Yahushua whom you crucified. You see that? You crucified him. Both he made him master and the Messiah. Now, when they heard this, they were pricked in their hearts. You see, they were pricked in their hearts because they saw their guilt. They recognized their guilt. So he says, they said, what can we do? What can we do to be saved? Peter said, repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the authority of Yahushua Messiah for the removal of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. So what is sins? The removal of sin. What is sin? 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever commits sin transgress also the law, because sin is the transgression of the law. Right. So repent, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and be immersed in the authority of Yahushua for the removal of your transgressions of the law. So the gospel is you, because of your transgression of the law, sin, you are guilty before Yah. Because you are guilty before Yah, and he has to destroy not you, but sin. Because you are in sin, you will be destroyed with the sin that you possess. But here's the good news. Yahushua died and he raised so he can take away those transgressions of the law that you have committed in the past, so you can be pardoned, grace, so you can walk uprightly by the power of the gift, which is the Ruach HaKodesh. The good news, or the gospel, is that I no longer am trapped as a sinner. I am free from sin. The truth made me free from sin. And now I am empowered to walk in righteousness, which I was not empowered to do prior. So the first thing, I need to realize my captivity to sin. Then I can receive my freedom from sin. So that's how you are supposed to express the good news. You don't just tell somebody, he loved you, he loves you. You tell somebody, hey, did you lie recently? Like, you are lying, you lying to your family, you lying to your friends, you are horrible. Because Satan is giving a different narrative. I'm not that bad. I'm a good person. Oh, I'm good. Oh, this is a good guy. Oh, that's a good lady. Oh, that's a good person. Oh, that's a good man. we're using this term so much that nobody sees that we're in a bad situation. So the gospel has to be preached in recognition of the bad situation, and that there's a way out of that bad situation, and you no longer have to stay in that trapped situation. But you got to first allow Yah to use you to open their eyes. Once Yah opens their eyes, then they'll be able to see that they're in a bad situation and that they need to be delivered or saved from that captivity. You see what I'm saying? So I hope that everybody understands this. This is how the gospel has to be presented, because if it's not presented that way, people are going to think that what Yah has to offer is not that good. You know, that what they got is pretty good and that they're a pretty good person. Don't ever let people, what we need to do, we need to change our language. We need to stop telling people how good they are. We need to just say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what you did. What you did was nice. You know, not, man, you're a good dude, you're a good person, you're a good man, you're a good woman, you're a good girl. No, no. Maybe to your children, sure, to encourage them. And that way you can always explain to them what's the bad part about it. But when you're out there talking to different people, you got to let people know, like, hey, you want to be delivered from this problem that you have, following your flesh, following your cravings, following your urges, following your anger, following whatever feeling or thought comes to you. You have to do this. If you want to be free from that, or you want to know why you have to do those things, is because you are trapped. You are in captivity. You know, I remember when Messiah in John chapter 8, Messiah tried to explain this to the Israelites he was like, you need to be free. And they were like, we're the children of Abraham. We were never in bondage. Listen, they said that while Rome ruled over them. We're Abraham's children. We were never in bondage while Rome is telling them what to do. It's crazy. But Yahushua wasn't even talking about governmental bondage. He was talking specifically about saving you from your sin, yourself, delivering you from yourself, letting the old man die and delivering you from the old man, which is you. You know, but this is a development. This gospel is personal. So if you're not willing to go personal when you go public, when you're in a public place, if you're not willing to get personal with people, like we got personal with people. We got personal, we got numbers. People was on their knees on a dirty train praying. You know, we didn't just preach into the air and then just leave. Like that's not how it works. You know. So I hope this explains the gospel and how it should be presented in the street preaching and any preaching, any presentation. You know, it may sound different, but you know, Neo. It says Yahushua is fully God and fully man. He came to lay down his life. Okay. Mm, I, I like. Did you put 100% before saying fully God and fully man? So I want you to answer this question. Just be honest. Is God fully man? I want you to just answer that portion of the question. Is God fully man? And then we'll go after that. Shalom, Sister Christina. Sister Paula, see another question that says, you sent me a video on the morning star. Lucifer and Yahusha are both called that. Well, all the angels are referred to as morning stars. Let me show you that real quick. I know I've heard that attempt. Let me go to Psalms 139. Shalom, Peter. Peter Rodriguez. Shalom, Sister Ruth. That's right, Peter. 1 John 5:7. An addition in the 2nd century. Even Joseph Ratzinger admitted to that. If you guys don't know, that was the Pope that resigned for Francis to come up. Hallelujah Scriptures doesn't have Johanna comma. Right. A lot of good ones don't have it. American Standard Version don't have it either. That's a good one too. All right. So look at this, guys. All right, Richie James. We're gonna come back to you. Come to your question after this one. So look at this. 139. Look at what he says here. He's talking about the wings, right? It says, if I take the wings of the morning, what is he referring to? He's the wings of the morning. He's referring to angelic creatures or heavenly hosts, heavenly creatures, angelic beings. Let me see if I could find the wings of the morning. I believe it says, yes. So Job, I was looking for also. So Psalms talks about the wings of the morning, and then Job talks about the morning stars, right? Multiple morning stars sang together, and all of the sons of Elohim shouted for joy. He's referring to the angelic creatures as morning stars. So I think what you're referring to is Peter, where he says, he talks about the day star. Let me see if I can find it real quick before. I think it's in chapter 2. Okay, right. So it says here, until the day dawn and the day star rise in your hearts. Right. So people are like, oh, day star, morning star. Let me see. Let's get the Greek real quick, and then we're gonna go to the Lucifer. So we already proved that all the angels are referred to as morning stars. Okay, all the messengers. It says the day star, that word is for light bearing, is phosphorus. It is a derivative of, yeah, it's light bearer, light bearing. It says here morning star, but anything that bears light, like a luminary. So let's go to, it's like the illuminated one. So I think we're talking about Isaiah chapter 14, where it says, O Lucifer, right? Hallel, which means morning star. Son, Ben of the morning, Ben Shakar, son of the dawn, son of the light rising, son of the light. So specifically him wanting to be above the stars, remember morning stars is referring to all the angels, all the messengers. It would make sense because the messengers bring light. Truth is light. The messengers are supposed to bring light. Lucifer was a bringer of light, so was all the other morning stars or bringers of light or messengers. So the idea that, oh, him and the Messiah have the same name, no, Messiah was a messenger of the light as well. He was the chief messenger of the light. The head, I would say, of the light that was brought. So the idea, and that's why I call Lucifer the son of the morning. It doesn't call Yahushua the son of the morning. So being called morning star doesn't have any problem because all the angels are called morning stars, as you saw in Job, as you saw in Psalms. All the angels are called morning stars, not just Lucifer, not just. Matter of fact, I believe that we're also referred to as stars in prophecy as well. So let me know if that makes sense to everybody. So if you hear that again, oh, Lucifer and Messiah, both morning stars, all of the angels are morning stars. Every messenger that brings light is a morning star. So any video teaching that the term means that they're both the same is false. Bobby, welcome. Good to see you. Sister Zara, shalom. There is only one God. His name is Jesus, not distinct persons. Okay, Neo. So you're a oneness believer. That's good. Did you check out the first two videos of the oneness scriptures? Because you didn't mention the scripture yet. And there's all the scriptures, a lot of scriptures are in those first two videos. Can you go to one and bring a verse so we can look at it? Because I think most of the people here have already looked at the verses and you're not bringing up anything to help convince them. Oh, praise Yah, sister Paula. Is that verse really talking about Satan? Okay, you're talking about Isaiah 14. Now, it's kind of like how there's many scriptures that talk about David or that mentions David, but it's not talking about David, or the son of David, and it's not really talking about the son of David, or Solomon, or any of those sons. But specifically, let's just focus on something more simple. Things that are referring to David, and it's not talking about David. That's what that verse is talking about. There is a correlation between Babylon and what's mentioned there. Matter of fact, Babylon is very directly connected to Lucifer in terminology and typology as well, because even in Revelation, that great city is referred to as Babylon. So we keep seeing every time Satan is involved with the crazy superpower over the world, it's referred to as Babylon. So even though it does reflect what Babylon actually did, Assyria actually did, it's the characteristics don't all fit the king of Babylon, and we know that Satan was actually the ruler of these kingdoms. So if you want to know that, ask the question. I want to see you ask the question if you want to know that. I don't want to just go into stuff. Satan is truly the king of the kingdoms of the earth. If you want to know what verse says that, let me know. Go ahead, brother Deontay.
Shalom, brother. I just want to say you missed a couple of questions.
I did. No, I went back up to
Oh, you
Richie
did?
James. Is he the last one, right?
And
He's
there's one after that too, Peter Rodriguez.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
I
go
see you
to
skip down to mine, and I didn't want to like.
Yeah. So I'm on Richie James, and then I'm gonna go to Peter.
Okay, just
Yeah.
was pointing.
I just went down because that one was quick. Because you guys be putting so much stuff. I'll be having to
I
scroll down.
get you. Get you.
Man, caught me a couple times where I was scrolling down for a long time. All right. So Richie James, my brother, says, why did the Levite go to the extent of chopping up his concubine after she was dead by the sons of Belial? You talking about the Benjamites? Because they're from the tribe of Benjamin. But shalom, Sister Kim from Canada. Welcome. One of the things about the book of Judges, this story comes out of the book of Judges. So they were already, like, Yah was already distant from Israel. You can start when you start from the beginning of the book, you're gonna see that Yah, the angel of Yah, Yah in chapter 2, the angel of Yah was like, I'm not gonna drive out none of these nations no more for you. So in the book of Judges, you're gonna see that it says that they did what was right in their own mind. So from the book of Judges, the book of Ruth, I believe, is that it? So the book of Judges and the book of Ruth, Israel did whatever they thought was right. So this was a man, it seemed like he was trying to be a righteous man, but at the same time, Yah was very distant from Israel at that time. So the choices he made was not based off of like I wouldn't say like an inspired thing. It still showed how wicked Israel, specifically the tribe of Benjamin, was. I believe it was the tribe of Benjamin. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was the tribe of, yeah, it was a tribe of Benjamin because they threatened him. Like they wanted to, if you don't give us her, you know. No, matter of fact, they were trying to get him. Oh, yes, yes, I remember now. Sorry. They were trying to get him. They were trying to do that to him. And he offered his concubine, and they did that to his concubine. So uh they did whatever was right in their eyes. They were not following Yah. They did not have a structure. Yah was not talking to them. They didn't have no blessings and stuff like that. Yah was basically helping them to survive at this point. So, why he chopped up? He said he chopped it up to send it to the 12 tribes, so that way he can kind of relay the severity of what just happened, which it worked. It worked, but the the whole situation is because Yah was distant from Israel at this whole time period. So when you read in the book of Judges, don't read it like these dudes is following Yah. They not. That's why Yah rose up those saviors or those judges to help them, because they were not surrendering or following Yah. It was like a dark time for Israel uh through the whole book of Judges. You know, I would say, yeah, I would say that's the darkest time. That's the darkest time because there was no structure. There was no king. Um, they didn't have like an enforcer. It was a weird situation. It was um, Joshua and the elders died, so it's a crazy situation. When you put it in perspective, you'll see that they were not doing anything correct. So you can't get anything doctrinal. You can't get most things in the book of Judges is not doctrinal. It's just historical. It's just history. What happened and why. That's it. You know. Um, Brother Peter said, did the ancient Israel ever openly proselytize or preach Yahuwah to the other nations? Um, I think that sometimes they didn't have to. The nations were hearing what Yahuwah was doing for Israel just by them living. But as far as proselytizing openly, they would literally just live. They would literally just live, and that would, when they did business with different nations, or when they crossed different nations, or when people would travel and interact with different nations, that's how people would hear about Israel. When Yah would deliver Israel, they would hear about what Yah did. So they were recognizing and desiring to serve Yah. You know what I mean? In that way, little by little. That's how they were being a light to the nations. But let me give you a verse real quick to show you a really interesting verse to show you that they, even though they were not just going out preaching in the middle of the woods to another nation, that did happen when Yah told them to. Yah told some of the prophets to go to the nations, starting from I believe Elijah told Elijah to go to the nations. He told Jeremiah to go to the nations. Let me see. What are we looking at? Okay, Deuteronomy 4. So this is when Yah is talking to Israel when they're going into the land. And so this is what they were supposed to be doing when they went into the land. It says here, I taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me. This is Moses encouraging the children of Israel that you should do so in the land where you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. It says, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You see that? In the sight of the nations. So it said they're supposed to say, for what nation is so great that has Elohim so near to them as Yahuwah and our Elohim is in all these things which we call upon him for. Now watch this. What nation, the nations are saying this to, what nation is there so great that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you today? This is Moses telling you, like, this is what the nations are going to see. They're going to hear you explaining your law. You're not just telling people laws. You're explaining what it means, what it means for you, what it means for your personality, your character, what it represents, how it displays righteousness. This is what they're going to look at and be like, wow, this is a wise nation. It's not you're a wise nation because you eat lamb on Passover. No, you're a wise nation because you're understanding the deliverance. You're righteously judging between you and your brother. You're not treating your servants the way that you was treated when you was a servant. All of these principles is supposed to be taught to the nations as they're watching you actually live it. So it's not necessarily like, hey, go stand on the corner of the woods and start preaching to the nations. No, you know, you have to live it, and they're gonna ask you the questions. They're gonna be like, wow, what kind of wise and understanding people is this? They're gonna hear things like, oh, I never heard this before. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, Sister Ruth, right. Right. All that you good and they're good, no one is good. Me and my kids was just reading that in Psalms chapter. We're reading Psalms chapter 14 and 15. I think it's in chapter 14 where it says, no one is good, no one goes after understanding, no one seeks Elohim. And I was teaching my kids, like, naturally, no one is gonna go after Yah. You have to intellectually decide to do it. We're gonna go over that one day. Yah willing, this can be like an everyday thing. We just need to get people joining. Um, Revelation 22:16, right? Bright and morning star, right? Yahushua is the bright and morning star, not the son of the morning. He's the bright and morning star. So that does give him a brighter description than the angels, I would say. Bobby Santiago. Unfortunately, I had to work during Passover. Really bothers me. Baptism, man. Yeah. I feel sometimes it's not about, I can't just tell you what to do. You know what I mean? Acting and moving on faith is kind of like, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. When I say acting and moving on faith, I mean, like, I could understand the fear. I could understand the fear of, finances. I could understand the fear of not being able to pay any bills or losing the job or anything like that. I just want you to keep in mind is either that Yah is able to provide or he's not. That's kind of what you have to apply to that. You know, is Yah able to supply your needs or is he not? Is he able to get you another job if this job act up or is he not? You can lose your job at any time. You know, you can lose your job now. So standing up for Yah's truth and to do Yah's commandments, if you believe that you should, it would to me it would crush me to think that I would choose to dishonor Yah and work, and then this job fires me later on anyway, and ignores that I was able to be more loyal to them than to my Elohim, and they fire me because I'm expendable to them. They can do away with me and get somebody else. So why should I treat them? Why should I treat the job more highly than Yah when Yah is the one that helps me get the job? So I understand that things are comfortable, but sometimes it's not really about being comfortable. It's about serving Yah. It's about serving Yah. I'm not comfortable, you know, I'm not comfortable at all. Even today, like in a situation where I had to take off work for a possibility that I may not have work. And then it turned around. It turned around in my favor, praise Yah. But at the same time, even my wife was encouraging me like these people don't need to have any type of weight with Yah. These people don't have no weight with the Most High. They don't have no weight. You see what I'm saying? Yah is heavier than any of these situations. He has more value. He has more weight. He should have the most influence on your decision than some change. So talk to Yah, pray about how to approach this, and then really see him. You're gonna see him actually he's gonna test you. If you want to serve him, he's gonna test you in your loyalty to him. So be encouraged, brother. Yeah, I mean, we could still do that. Yah's people could still do that. This is evangelism. We have feasts. We meet people face to face every year, twice, 3 times a year, like we talked about already. It's like, people meeting up with people that live near them, and it's, matter of fact, in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware area, um, we do have some people that live out there that joins the assembly. Bobby, have you tried to join the assembly yet in assemblyofyahuwah.com? And Sister Kim, oh praise Yah. Absolutely. We would love to see Bobby and everybody at the feast. We just got to make sure that we are not giving this world more importance than what Yah wants us to give to it, because it's developing fear, and we're not supposed to be having fear. Yeah, you can ask my wife. I go into work, I'm telling you, all Every job I had, office job, it don't matter. I'm in an office in Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan. I remember I was keeping Shabbat, and I got this job. Sun was setting like super early in New York that year. Sun was setting like 3:30. I was just like, yo, hey, sunset. They were like, but we got work to do until 5. I'm just like, sunset. That's it. Then when I start keeping the feast, it was just like, hey, there's these religious feasts that I keep from the Bible. It's on these days. I'm not asking you. I'm not asking. The last feast, I just got this job that I have, and the last feast came. I was just like, yeah, I need these things off for religious holiday. I don't keep no Christmas. I don't keep none of those things. So you'll see me at work. But as far as Passover, unleavened bread, I'm taking these days off. I'm not asking you. That's me. And it does get scary. It feels good when you first approach it that way. Hey, I'm not asking you. I need these off because this is my religion. This is my belief. This is who I worship. I have to do this. A lot of times people are aware of what Jewish people take off. So sometimes they're like, oh yeah, I know the Seventh-day Adventist or this Jewish person. Yeah, so okay, so but initially there's that fear. And so I just come straight at it. Hey, these are the dates that I need off because for religious observance, that's a legal term. So that way they could get afraid to say no. Religious observance, this is what I believe. This is my belief system, my religion. This is from the Bible. Would you like me to show you? But these are the days. If they say, hey, I don't want you to work here no more, I'm still going to the feast though. Yah is able, man. He's able, and there's nothing in my life. I'm 42 years old. There's nothing in my life he didn't show he's not able to do. He showed too much that he is able to do whatever he wants to do, and whatever is in my favor. If he wants to give me favor, he's going to do it. That's it. And I need to remember that. So I approach everything that way. He is going to do it. And there's moments where I start to doubt and I get a little afraid, Well, praise God, we have each other for that. My wife really encouraged me, this week, because I'm just like, man, these people are gonna do this. But then I'm like, man, I gotta get off Thursday. I gotta go check. If I lose my job Thursday, guess what? I'm gonna be online on Thursday night with the brothers and sisters. That's what it was. It was just time to serve y'all more. That's all. Um, Go ahead, brother Deontay.
Shalom again. Before I ask my question, I just want to say that I was in the same spot too. I was supposed to move all the way up to Florida, get a job, go to college out there, all kinds of stuff. But, once it came to Yah, it was just like I had to hit the brakes. Then it looked
Right,
like if I didn't do this, if I didn't work on Saturday, I was gonna be homeless. I wasn't gonna have food. I wasn't gonna do anything like that. But, it just came to me, like, not as a revelation, but like through faith and giving myself over to Yah. Like what the Messiah said is if he can make sure the birds are fed, if he can make sure that the pigs are fed and have a
right,
place to go, how much
right,
more his own children, right? And now even though I have what some might consider the bare minimum, I'm content with that. I can live and not and fo put my focus on Yah. Now I have a home to go to. Now I have food and whatnot, and it's been hard for me to get a job because they want you to work on Saturdays, especially somebody young like me. They want me to work all Saturday, Friday night, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. And so the thing is, we have to have trust in him and believe what he says because he's truth. He can't lie. He's not going to lie. If he says something, then that's how it is. So if he says that, you know, he's gonna take care of you and he's gonna feed you, then you have to trust in him that that's exactly what he's gonna do. Even though, like you said, that's scary. Even for me, it was scary. I'm like, I gotta get a job or else I'm gonna be homeless. But I'm not working on Saturday. I'd rather be homeless than work and disobey Yah. But again, it's all by his mercy and his love
Right.
and his grace for us. But my question was,
Mm,
in Isaiah 62:11, is that talking about Yahushua? It says,
let me pull it up.
yeah, I'll let you to pull up then.
You said I yeah, 62:11.
Yeah.
It says, Behold, Yahuwah have proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say to the daughter of Zion, Behold, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of Yahuwah, and you shall be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Praise Yah. Absolutely, this is it. Let me go
Yeah.
up a little bit. Yeah, look at this. Go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people, the way. Cast up the highway. That's the same thing as the way. Gather
Hmm.
out the stones, lift up the standard of the people. Yahushua is the standard. It says, Behold, Yahuwah hath proclaimed unto the end of the world, the ends of the world.
Yeah.
Say to the daughter of Zion, Behold, your salvation is coming. Your salvation, and Yahuwah is salvation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The reason why I asked
Yeah,
is
he's
that's
talking about that. Let me see. It says he's talking about that while, yep, yeah, this is what's supposed to be taught. This is, I've set watchmen upon the wall, O Jerusalem, shall never hold their peace day or night. You that make mention of Yahuwah, keep not silent. Give them no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Praise Yah.
yeah,
This is absolutely, I love this chapter is nice,
it is.
encouraging.
The reason why I asked is because it talks about, behold, your salvation or your Yahshua comes.
Oh yeah,
Behold, his reward is with him and his work before
absolutely,
him. And the
absolutely.
Messiah says, when he comes back, his reward's gonna be with him.
Right.
And,
Yahuwah is salvation. Yahushua's name is
yeah.
this right here. Yahuwah salvation and his reward. Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely talking about Yahushua coming, being preached and received by his people,
Okay.
by those who believe, I
Yeah,
would
of
say.
course. Um, and just one more small question is, when it comes to like talking to people and whatnot, because
Yeah.
I try my best with my friends and people who want to learn. I try my best to spread the word with them in honesty and truth. And and sometimes I have to like calm myself down 'cause I have to remember I'm not, prophesying to them or just preaching to them. I'm here to help them understand and teach. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But
Sharing. You're
yeah,
just
yeah.
right.
But when does it get to the point where it's like, okay, this is too much? Like for example, some of my friends, they keep making excuses, and and the thing is, I don't want to just push them away and like distance myself because you know I'm
Yeah.
here to pull you to Yah, not push you away. He's want nobody wicked to be perished. But at the same exact time, there's only so much I can repeat over and over and over again, and I can't make you have faith in him. I can't make you feel anything. I can't make you understand what it means to not rely on your own emotions and to rely on his word. I
Right.
can't do that. But at the same exact time, I don't want to just, leave my friends behind. So it's like I'm at this point where it's like, hey, you guys got to keep the Sabbath. Hey, put down the crosses and stuff. And like make every excuse under the sun. Hey, Valentine's Day and Easter and all that stuff's not really. That's we shouldn't be celebrating that. But like, when does it get to the point where it's like, okay, now I have to defellowship with you because
Well,
just
it's
rejecting it?
to me, it's more like in regards to witnessing,
Hmm.
it's more like, you know, I'm over here, I'm over here and you guys are doing that over there. There has to be that kind of that separation already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whenever they come over, what I used to do is I used to always have a way to indirectly talk about what they need to do by talking about what I need to do.
I do that, but
Yeah. and at the end of the day, it's kind of like their choice. It's their choice, and but at the same time, you don't want to. One thing that I don't do is I don't hang out
Mm,
with people that don't serve Yah. You
hmm.
know what I mean? Like we can be acquaintances and interact and be friendly. I don't hang out with people that don't serve Yah. If you serve Yah, people that serve Yah gets to see like a, I get to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
but um, but I won't give people that opportunity when they're not giving their life to Yah.
Hmm.
So you have to just structure it that way because you have to be a light to everyone else, not because you need to tell anyone else, but because that's what you do. You're
Yeah.
a light because this is what you do, and you're not going to be quiet for the nations, for
Yeah.
anybody, for friends, for family. You're not going to be quiet, but I'm not. I don't have to tell you anything or force you to do anything, but just don't ask me any questions because I'm going to tell you why Yah is not pleased at it. I don't have to tell him why Yah is not pleased at you.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say why Yah is not pleased at that act or this practice or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So that's kind of along the lines. You focus on allowing your light to extend. This is why I don't do this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't. You have to talk about why you don't do that without telling somebody that Yah is, against them. You don't need to tell them Yah is against them.
Yeah.
Yah may not be against them, even though they're in the world. Yah may not be against them.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? Yah sent his son while we were against him, Yah sent his son for us. So
Yeah. Of
we
course.
need to we need to just show the benefit by showing them our life, our mentality, the wisdom that we have from Yah is from us removing ourselves from all of that crap. So
Yeah.
that's when they're gonna start noticing, wow, like you're receiving something. So the moment they see you're receiving something for separating yourself from those things, they're gonna start looking at themselves and analyzing it.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask is just because it gets to me sometimes. It's like I don't feel his presence. I don't feel like he loves me, and I'm like trying to explain. It's like I feel like that too a lot
Yeah.
sometimes, but I can't go off of how I feel.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I
So
mean? It's just hard to like tell them, hey, you're gonna feel down. That's your person. You know, you
yeah.
have that nature,
Sometimes
but you have to
people.
remind yourself that you're no longer in that old sinful person. You've
Yeah.
been renewed and changed, and it's
Sometimes people are
huh?
still there. Sometimes people are still there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know what you're saying. I mean, like more of like that's not what you're trying to be stuck in, and like that's what you're
Right.
working towards to be. You know what I mean?
I would say, look at what you do every day. Look at what you do every day that you don't want to do, right?
Yeah.
When you get up, even people that get up and go to work and they get up early, go to work, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get
Yeah.
up. You don't want to go out in the cold. You don't want to do none of that stuff, right?
Hmm.
But you push yourself apart from emotion. You separate necessity from emotion.
Yeah.
It's interesting when it comes to Yah, everybody wants to have emotions attached to it, but you don't really apply necessity to Yah. You
Yeah.
don't apply, this is either this or death with Yah. It's
Yeah.
it's always like the feeling. And so I was even having a talk with my kids. I was just like, I'll tell them, I told them today, it's time. All right, guys, it's time to have devotional time. Acknowledge Yah. We acknowledge Yah. So we sing some songs. I tell them to pick the songs,
Hmm.
and then we were reading Psalms 14, and I was just like, it says, no one. It was talking about no one is righteous, no, not one. No one seeks after understanding. No one seeks after Elohim.
Hmm.
And I was just like, would you guys have said, hey, Dad, hey, Daddy, it's time to worship and read a little bit and pray and sing a little bit to Yah. I said, would you guys have said that to me naturally? Um, and they try to give me the political correct, but I gotta catch them. Like, hey, tell me the truth. I had to tell them this. This is what I told them. I said, you know, nothing that you're saying is going to make me love you less or love you more.
Hmm.
Even if it's a, a, even if it's a bad answer that I don't want to hear, it doesn't make me love you less or love you more. But I need you to be truthful for me so I can know that I can trust you,
Hmm.
you know. And so they were like, kind of like, okay, yeah, probably wouldn't have reminded you to, hey, let's start reading the Bible or let's start praying or stuff. My kids is like, when we get into it, they're in it.
Hmm.
So I was just talking to them about initiating it,
Yeah.
going against their desire to be entertained with intellectually understanding I gotta give time to Yah. When you love him with all your mind, your heart, and your strength, you have to use strength to direct yourself to Yah. It's not gonna come like with this feeling, with the emotional feeling, and then you go with the current towards Yah. No, it's always gonna be against the current.
Hmm.
We have to understand this. Never, and then when Yah gives you the emotion, that delight that you have in Yah, praise Yah, take it and then run with it super fast towards Yah.
Yeah.
But when you don't have it, there has to be in the mind an understanding of necessity. Like you can't sit. You got to sit there this long. It has to be to the point where, um, which is this is how it is with me. After a certain time, like if I'm working, I work late. So if I work late multiple days in a row. So when I'm working late, probably the second day or the third day, I wake up groggy because I'm lit. Is late, and then it's like I don't feel like, oh, I want to go to Yah. I feel like intellectually, like I'm like, I didn't spend no time with Yah. I didn't talk to him. I didn't, I didn't read. And then I have to direct myself to go towards Yah
Yeah.
without feeling, without feeling. It's not like I don't want to do it, but it's not like I want to do it.
Yeah, I get you.
It's easier. I could turn the TV to a Bible study or a song, but for me to go to the Bible, open it, and to sit quiet and pray is not as different. You have to use strength. You feel that that pull to do something more convenient, and you have to go against that to start developing that intellectual awareness. Like every once in a while, you're like, you look back like, where's Yah? Let me talk to Yah. It has to start coming in that way,
Yeah.
So that's what people need to start developing. And it's not just about conviction of something that's wrong. It's about habitual approach, like going to Yah constantly, talking to him about everything to develop that. When you're not talking to him, you're like, wait a minute, there's a problem. I need to
Yeah.
go, I need to stop, you
Yeah.
know? So
And
that's what we need to develop.
I get it. And then
You
that's why I feel like these Shabbats are a blessing because sometimes I'll be catching myself slipping and I remember, hey, it's Shabbat, and then for the rest of the most of the week, I'm recentered back, focused on Yah. And
Praise
I
Yah.
told him it's kind of like exercising because they work out sometimes. Like you go to the gym, when you first started going to the gym, you didn't want to wake up at however early you wake up, do as much stuff until you're tired and then
Yes,
get
sir.
and go. But the same exact thing with Yah. After a while, after you keep indulging yourself in His word and praying and staying steadfast in Him, it's gonna not necessarily be easier as in gonna want to do it all the time, but it's gonna be easier to be like, hey, it's that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely.
But
So, that's a perfect example. Exercise is always a perfect example. Like
yeah,
me, I'm trying to undo what I did physically. I mean, eating better is a little bit more easier. Healthy foods are really tasty. But exercising, pushing yourself to get up, exercise. You got to think, I started to apply my thinking, not to me wanting to be healthy,
Hmm.
but I started, this is brand new to me. So pray for me on my health journey. Because I want to be able to do this for have more endurance.
Yeah.
But I started to realize, and my wife was talking to me about just being able to give y'all more strength and more energy and more time, and health turned into the reason. Health, serving Yah became the reason for health,
Yeah.
and that made it much more intellectually important to me.
Yeah.
Easier for me to push because I'm pushing for Yah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me exercising is like serving Yah,
Yeah.
because it's allowing me to let him use me longer, you know, even longer in the day, longer in the study, longer in life. It's allowing him to use me longer. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at this differently now, and it's actually motivating, you know. As for before, it was like, yeah, I want to be healthy. And then it's easy for me to say, well, yeah, I could just relax. It was easy for me to do that when it was I. But now this is how I serve Yah. Now it's turning into an obligation.
Yeah.
And so healthy eating was like an obligation. No medicines, natural remedies, herbs and essential oils, things like that was a necessity. But eating was always like that thing that I always kind of, yeah, but let's take a break. And now it's like exercising is like, this is how I serve Yah.
Yeah.
And so, pray for me. So far it's going good, but I got a long ways to go, but I'm trying to just look at the lifestyle, not the
Yeah.
results of the lifestyle.
Oh, I'll pray for you, and you
Yeah,
should share any of your remedies you find because I've been looking and I can't find nothing for life for me. I don't know if my research is just bad, but
yeah. You said remedies, natural remedies?
yeah, like herbs, remedies, I can't find them.
Yeah, yeah. Me and my wife, we've been doing research for like 15, since my son was born, my first son,
Yeah.
and he's 15 now. When we stopped getting him, we went to get him vaccinated.
Yeah.
After that, we were just outside the hospital, like, I don't think y'all wants us to vaccinate him. And we had no knowledge. We were just like, yeah, nah, we're not going over there no more.
Mm.
Without any knowledge. It was just, we didn't even know vaccines was bad. We didn't know what was in vaccines. We just was like, just don't seem like that's what y'all wants to do.
Hmm.
So then as we did research, this is when my son was born. So that's 15 years ago. And then we started learning more and more how to heal from this, fevers and cold sicknesses, even COVID. We all had COVID, knocked it out in like 3 days with a fast, with a
Yeah.
juice fast, with beet juice, beet, carrots, and you know, and we knocked it out, my whole family.
Yeah.
We never got it again after that.
Yeah.
So it's like, also not eating certain stuff like dairy, getting away from dairy was definitely needed.
Mm.
Milks, and, um, so yeah, yeah. Whatever what are you trying to look for, real quick?
Just like stuff, well, mainly stuff for like when you're sick, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah,
know
like
I
what,
wanted
cold,
to drink teas and
fevers?
stuff, but yeah, like fevers, cold, because me, I have bad allergies. And I usually don't get sick, but when I get sick, I'm dying for about 2, 3 days and then I'm done. And then the next day I'm perfectly fine, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
But when I'm sick, I think it's the last day for me. I'm serious. Like even now, I have my allergies acting up because dust from I went over to my friend's house and they have I guess really dusty vents and it
Yeah.
feels like my head's about to explode and I'll be fine tomorrow. And
Well, it's because you're a man. I don't know what it is, but men The same thing with me. When I get sick, it's just like
Well,
whatever.
because from what
Alone.
I learned,
I just
testosterone is a immunity suppressant. It suppresses your white blood cells.
oh yeah.
From what I heard from
Oh, so there's a stereotype that men get like a little baby every time we get sick. It's funny, but it's when I'm sick, I'm like, just leave me alone. Give me a big thing of
yeah.
orange juice.
Yeah, and
I'll survive.
I also have like really bad colon issues, which I've always had that, and no one knows what's wrong with me. You never see me before, but I'm super skinny. I'm underweight.
Mm,
I will eat more than you, and I will not gain anything.
mm,
So anything to like help me with that, and even stuff like my teeth, because
mm.
I have like
Okay.
cavities.
Like do you still eat dairy and stuff?
Like you just mean like milk and cheese in general?
Like milk, cheese, beef, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the beef is what I've learned is that beef takes longer. Eat different meats actually takes longer in the digestional tract to
yeah,
break down, some even days. And based off of how frequently we eat certain
yeah.
meats, it will last, it'll be there for weeks and create like a sludge.
Okay.
So um like simply there's certain simple things like when you eat and drink at the same time, it what you do is when you eat and you dilute the stomach acids when you drink at the same time as you eat, so it
Yeah,
causes like itis. It causes the energy from your brain and everything kind of goes to your stomach.
yeah.
Do you get acid reflux?
A little bit, not like really badly, but it's more of everything just stays like what it feels like to me is like my body's not absorbing the nutrients. Like it's just
Yeah,
staying in my body, digesting, then it's gone.
that means that your intestinal tract may be clogged or blocked with around the intestinal walls, because that's how you actually absorb nutrients through your, I'm gonna try to say it again, digestional tract, whatever. Your intestines are supposed to be clear so that way you can absorb nutrients from whatever you eat. That's why when people juice, it's easier for the intestines to absorb into the body. It's faster than if it has to break down food. But if you're eating like a lot of beef and meat, it takes days and days to come out of your system. So your body is now accumulating all of this stuff and is blocking the intestinal walls from absorbing the nutrients from the actual food you're eating. Ray, absolutely. Fasting and intermittent fasting is very good because you have to let your body get rid of stuff. Using apple cider vinegar. I think somebody mentioned apple cider vinegar. Using apple cider vinegar for your gut, it's like a super probiotic. People always say apple cider vinegar, but these are like super foods. You know,
Yeah.
what they do is they have these enzymes that will start to break down your body. So if you're taking these things and you're fasting intermittently, of course, eating foods that break down faster. Like fish breaks down faster than
I love fish, my
beef.
favorite food.
You know, fish breaks down faster than beef. You also want to make sure you're not taking in too much. You're not having like mercury intake. So you
Yeah.
gotta make sure but you can also detox from that. Parasites, Sister Tina wrote, you guys are amazing, man.
Thank you everybody in the chat too.
Modern Roots, there's a detox blend. There's a whole bunch of roots that is good for just flushing things out. Wormwood helps you with parasites as well.
Okay.
Um, Parasites could be a thing too, because they like to, all the stuff that we eat kind of that gets stuck in the digestional tract is where the parasites usually live too, in the intestines. So parasite detox, black walnut, Sister Tina, and pumpkin seeds. You can eat pumpkin seeds. It helps. It not only helps prevent cancer, but is also helping with parasites in your body. Pumpkin
Uh,
seeds.
Well, I had pumpkin seeds before, but I didn't know they did all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll start to see like these little things that people use as snacks. Like when you start using them frequently, it starts to have more of an effect on your body.
Yeah.
Pumpkin seeds being one of them. Uh, you know, There's a lot of different things. Milling grains, yeah, those what they call that, Sister Kim, ancient grain type of foods. Like there's like, well, real bread, yeah, yeah. My wife loves to make like real, we like to bake bread.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you though.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All those things. So if you fast and then you eat a meal like with, look at what Sister Kim mentioned about those milling grains, those rough grains, it actually will promote cleansing of your intestines, opening your
Mm,
intestines so that you could absorb the nutrients better.
mm,
And it also cleans out your colon. As it's doing that, it cleans out your colon as well. Papaya seeds, absolutely, Alex. Enzymes that will break down the foods. This is what you need to do. You need to have your stomach breaking down foods, because if you eat and drink at the same time, you dilute in your stomach acids. It's not really breaking down the foods. It's going to try to push it through the body without really breaking it down to its lowest, um, you know, the lowest thing that it could do. Ginger is good for the stomach and is also good for inflammation as well, in case
okay.
there's some inflammation in the colon and in the intestines. Turmeric is good for inflammation as well.
Okay.
Um, Stop all oils, canola oil,
What about olive oil?
Pam, olive oil.
That's the only oil I
You
really
know what
use.
olive oil is good with? Um,
That's how I make
well, a
matzahs with
little
olive
bit of
oil.
olive oil, but if you put olive oil, organic olive oil on your food, is a little bit different than using it to cook, you know. Um, Coconut water, drinking coconut water actually is good for electrolytes. Sister Tina, thank you for that. I'm kombucha. Emissary, my wife loves kombucha.
Yeah.
Hate kombucha. Kombucha is like, I don't want to tell you what I think it is. Only my wife knows what I say about kombucha. It's horrible, but it is like a super food for your stomach.
Okay.
Super probiotic. Pro is a pro and prebiotic for your stomach. So
Okay.
it's definitely, you can't do these things and eat crazy hamburgers and stuff at the same time. It won't work that way. That's why fasting, like brother Ray brought out, fasting is very important. Xylitol is good. Xylitol is good for a lot of things, even your teeth.
Yeah, because I have like a really bad cavities in my teeth and stuff because
Oh, you
beforehand,
mentioned, okay, so that's why brother mentioned xylitol. Xylitol,
and I don't want because
if
I
you
don't
go,
want to have to get my teeth pulled or anything like that. But it's
yeah,
looking
yeah.
up. It's getting
Matter
to
of
that
fact,
point.
my teeth has got a certain way, and I have a really bad cavity in my back tooth.
Hmm.
Nerve was exposed, and I just, one, I couldn't really eat, so I stopped, and I started to use peroxide to kill all the germs, brush and peroxide, kill it. And then I was chewing xylitol gum, which I heard that xylitol helps kind of re-establish like the
Calcify.
enamel.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. Coconut oil and xylitol, and the exposed nerve closed by itself
Mm,
in the back of my mouth. I mean, I talk a little different, but it closed up.
mm.
So these are
Okay.
interesting things people are bringing out. I
Okay.
hate kombucha. I'm sorry,
Well,
I just had to.
well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah, absolutely. Sister Denara, you said prophecy concerning what should we be looking out for in regards to what though? Oh, somebody asked that question. Okay, prophecy in regards to what, like politically, food wise. You know what's interesting about the food wise also is that there's a verse that talks about how the animals of the earth is going to languish because of the sins, and that's what we see. We see the food becoming worse and worse. So we got to be more aware. Scripture says that. Let me show you the scripture real quick. That's why that's why I stopped messing with beef a while ago. Chicken, I just started doing more fish. Uh, Chicken is probably a little bit more difficult, but as far as being aware of where you get the chicken, I think that's important. Let me go to Hosea. Is it 4? I'm coming to you, Brother Charles, real quick. Let me see if I can find this verse real quick. No, here you go. Look at this prophecy here. It says here, let me start from the beginning. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you children of Israel, for Yahuwah have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of Elohim in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing, committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn. Everyone that dwells in it will languish. The beasts of the field, the fowls of the air, and the fishes of the sea shall also be taken away. So you notice, by the sins that's committed, the land and the animals, all the animals, are affected by the lawlessness that's happening in this earth. So that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing the GMOs, we're seeing the inhumane ways of handling chicken. I just was driving behind a truck with the chickens packed to the thing while it was pouring rain. It was just like, it's feeling bad for the animals. It's just crazy, you know. So, and the type of bacteria and diseases that arise because of those conditions. This is what's happening because man is becoming lawless. Man is becoming careless, you know. And so we need to kind of be more focused on moving away from what man is controlling in regards to the foods, because it says it right there that because of their sins and their lawlessness, the animals of the earth is going to languish because of their sins. What does that mean? If I have a farm, of course it's not going to be affected, but they control the food. They give you the food in the stores. So you need to be more aware of what you're eating, because it's going to affect your mind, you know. Go ahead, Brother Charles.
Shalom. Yeah, man, that's a revelation right there. I'm glad whoever asked that question just brought something out. I don't know if you seeing it like that. You said all the food gonna remove itself because of sin and transgression, right? Of lawlessness, right? Look at that right there. As soon as you said sin and lawlessness, how can lawlessness affect food? So that's gonna be something I'm gonna ask a question about another
Mm.
day. I'm gonna remind me to ask this question. I need to ask
Well, we
that
coming
question.
on tomorrow. Tomorrow night we'll be on.
All right, so that's something. I bet you these people gonna say, "Well, the law's done away with. The food is good now." So so look, so um, I want to say something about what y'all was talking about the food.
Yeah.
I had um, I had tried something. You know, we was laying in the bed. I remember waking up one day and my wife was feeling all sore. I was feeling sore. The kids wasn't moving. Look, we was all in one bed in order. Me, my wife, next, and the next daughter. Come to find out, I guess we all had COVID too when it came out, when it first came out.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't even know nothing about it. All of a sudden, we were healed the next day or two or whatever. And it wasn't until later on we found out next year or later in the year we had COVID. So y'all was blessing us to remove it. You know what I did, brother, and I mean this, and this is just to show y'all can use whoever you want to. The brother Dr. Sebi. Now, this is a man who whatever he believed in, he may not believe in it all the way the right way, but he went straight forward and said, I believe in this. I believe in God. God made the herbs for the healing. That's what he said. He made up these different things. He healed himself, not healed himself, but y'all did it with the things that he used. Healed himself from cancer. Somebody got healed from AIDS and all these different things. And he said, stay away from dairy and starch. Now, I still eat starch, but this last thing I want to say about this. I stopped eating, I stopped drinking milk. I drank almond milk, but I stopped drinking milk, cheese, mayonnaise, anything with dairy. I wasn't getting sick. Yada yada. I was not getting sick. The mucus that I
Yeah.
would usually cough up wasn't there. So
Right.
these things help me to not what's the name, and that's what I want to say about that.
Absolutely. The
I got
allergies.
a question after this. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no, go ahead. The allergies, when you move dairy out the way, it helps with your allergies a lot. A lot. So that's a big part of it too. My wife had bad allergies too. So she moving away from dairy and sometimes she don't even feel it.
Yeah, even in the water, it's called electrolytes. Why we think it's called electrolytes? Because this electricity, this source that's in this world, it can't be contained. So when we drink electrolyte water, which is an electric in the water, this all connects. This is a real thing. Power plant, transformer, us, our brain has electricity. The ground, the water you drink, what is we getting? Y'all trying to show us something. And this is what I want to ask you. Can you tell me in John 1:1? And I'm gonna ask it like this, so I can ask you again if I don't understand. John 1:1. What is a definical, how you say it?
Definitive.
Wait, John 1:1, what y'all say that is? Definitive
Definitive
article?
article. Yeah.
Yeah. What is a definitive article? What is its purpose? And and what is the
Okay.
meaning of that when it comes to John 1:1? Can you tell me that?
So definitive article is kind of like when you say Mashiach, right? So if you look at Mashiach, all the kings of Israel were Mashiachs. All the high priests of Israel were Mashiachs. You know that?
No, I knew it was some by listening. Messiah means, what does Messiah mean?
Anointed one.
Anointed.
Right. So the scriptures actually say the word anointed on the priest and anointed on the king. The one whom remember touch not Yah's anointed.
Right.
That in Hebrew is don't touch Yah's Mashiach.
Mm.
He's referring to the king. So there's a difference between Mashiachs and Hamashiach, right? When you say Ha in Hebrew, Ha Mashiach is a definitive article, like the Messiah or the only Messiah or the one and only Messiah or something like the true Messiah. That's what definitive article is emphasizing. You see what I'm saying? So when you go to John 1:1 and it says the word was with Elohim, it's like saying hi Elohim or the God, like the one that we all know is God. That's what that is saying. That's what the definitive article is saying. Like definitive, like this is the one, rather than theon, which is the word was God. That word theon it's like an adjective. It's describing the word. It's saying what type of entity the word was, rather than the definitive article talking about the Father was saying this is the one true, this is the one known as Elohim. You see what I'm saying? So that's what definitive article is. Like there's many Mashiachs, but this is Hamashiach is the one known as Mashiach. You see what I'm saying? So even though all of us is anointed, he's the one known as the anointed one. You see?
Right, like when Samuel came to look for all them boys, and he
Yeah.
seen the strong one looking one, he
Yep.
was built and all that. Y'all was like, "No, I ain't looking for him. You look at the outer man, I look at the inner man." And he
Right.
seen Daoud, and he said, "Anoint him."
Right. That's Mashiach.
Okay.
So Mashiach, which makes him an anointed one. He is the Mashiach. Um, and then when you say Hamashiach, people waiting for the Messiah. Nobody's thinking like David or stuff like that. People are like, there's like a main guy that this is his title. That's what the definitive article is for. So when you see the Elohim or the God, it's like this title belongs to Yah, the Father. the one that the word was with, the title belongs to him, not to the word. The word, that title was given to the word as a description of the word, but the title was definitively talking about the Father.
All right. Well, one day you're gonna have to bring that John 1:1 up again and
Or
do the
breaking up the
definitive
Greeks.
article again.
Yeah.
Because the first,
We're gonna be just doing that. We're gonna be talking about Messiah uh this weekend. This weekend coming.
because when the first time you did it, I thought I was getting. The second time y'all did it, I kind of got it. Then it was the third and fourth time where I got confused, and
Yeah.
then I seen Corey and them trying to say this is the definitive article, but I couldn't figure out
Yeah.
the
He
difference
knows.
between them.
It's there's even the Greek is different. That's why they never say, they never tell you what the last word is. It's not even theos. It's like in the Greek manuscript is theon. It's not even theos, it's theon. So they could play around. I don't even I like to look at the context, because it doesn't say the Father and the word was with the Father God. It doesn't say that, like how all the Christians say Father God or God the Father. It doesn't have to say that. When it says that the word was with God, you already know who it's talking about. The only issue that everybody had was who in the world was the Messiah. Nobody had an issue about who Yah was or the Most High was. It was, who's this man? So that's what John is trying to explain. You know, Everyone else keeps making this man Yah. Like, I didn't see Neo come back yet. So I asked Neo a question. He was on the chat. And I asked him, he said, Yahushua is fully God, fully man. So I said, okay, just answer this part of the question. Is the Most High fully man? Once you answer that, you're going to enter into the confusion. Once you make Yah fully man, that's it. You don't have Yah no more. So, yeah, we're going to definitely go through John 1:1. So keep that in mind when we go through it. We're going to take it slow on Saturday night.
Hey, 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 somebody in a comment on one of your videos posed a great question. I'm gonna bring his name up. I'm gonna go look back. I want him to know that he posed a great question, and it's brought up before, but I think we need to bring it back up. So if you're in the audience right now, this is you I'm speaking of. He
Well,
said,
it's
oh,
you
go ahead.
closing right now.
Oh no, my bad. Here you go. Look, he said this is what he said. I'm just paraphrasing. He said, if Yah and Yahusha were, or if Yahusha was 100% Yah, then why don't he know when the end is coming? He got to wait for his father to tell him. So that
Right.
was good. That's
No, it's
simple.
good.
That was simple.
Yeah.
And then
And you know what? We could talk about those. We're doing Q&A tomorrow night. So you could bring that up so that way it could be answered, because that's a nice quick breakdown of who the Messiah is. Like, Revelation 1:1. Elohim gave it to him, and then he gives it to us by his angel. Like, that's how messages are relieved. Like, Revelation 1:1 says Yah gives the revelation to Yahushua. Yahushua gives it to us by the messengers. Uh, why would it says Elohim gave it to him? He has to receive revelation from his father to give to us. That's just how it is. Like, that doesn't make him not our king. That doesn't make him not our savior. That doesn't make him not our big brother, the one that saved us and the one that Yah used to redeem us from sin. He's the same one. He's the same. But what you're doing is you're identifying him with a person that he wanted you to go back to. He's trying to bring you back to his father. You're making him the same person he's trying to bring you back to. That's dishonoring Yah's whole mission, Yahushua's mission. His mission was to bring you to his father. He's the way. Nobody can go to the father but by me. But now you're making him a wall between you and the father now. Now you got to go to him instead of you got to go to him to bring you to the father. You're messing up the whole message of the scripture, you know. Live and learn. No, I'm not on every Thursday. Yeah, willing soon. Soon this may be what we do on a normal basis, y'all willing. Gotta get more people to join the membership, more people to like and subscribe. But this was definitely a bless. Absolutely, Sister Paula, organic. Yes, organic is to be separated from pesticides and insecticides that usually poison the foods. Yeah, when you have apples, especially apples covered with wax, insecticides of fruits and vegetables covered with insecticides or pesticides, you need to be very careful because a lot of those things are poisonous, are doing stuff to our bodies little by little, you know. Go ahead, brother Donnie.
Yeah, shalom, brother. It's kind of shocking I catch you on tonight. Um, I didn't make it on the other night about the conversation that we're having. Are you still going into that this weekend?
Which one? About the
Uh,
sun?
yeah, about the son and the father.
Oh yeah. That's the class that we're gonna be having Saturday night. Saturday night
Oh,
and Sunday night is gonna be 7:30, 7:30 Saturday night, Sunday night Eastern time. We're gonna be starting on who is the Messiah. We're gonna show his origin. We're gonna show his origin in Scripture from the prophets, and then we're gonna let Messiah tell you who he is. So we're going over that this weekend.
yeah, because I looked at the last video and I caught when you said it was a question you was waiting for me to come on, but my aunt took sick and then she
Hmm.
rest her soul today. She passed away today, but that's why I
Wow,
didn't make it.
sorry to
So
hear that.
that's why I caught you on tonight to see if we're going to continue that on this
Yeah,
weekend, right?
yeah,
Praise Yah.
absolutely,
Praise
absolutely.
Yah.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Okay, praise Yah.
Praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll go over that. Um, uh, my wife told me to get Child of Yah has a question. I may have overlooked her question. I'm trying to. This is my internet pretty slow. Let me see if I could find it.
It was the biblical prophecy question, which prophecy are we supposed to look out for?
Okay. What prophecy we're supposed to look out for? Well, I believe that one of the prophecies that we just looked at was in Hosea with the foods languishing. Um, you know, you know, one of the biggest prophecies I think that we should be looking for. Let me show you a verse. There's a couple of them. They're all saying the same thing, right? Um, Isaiah 2, it says here in verse 2, it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and he shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it. That many people shall go and say, come, let's go to the mountain of Yah, to the house of Elohim of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Why? The colon is about to explain why. Because out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yah from Jerusalem. This is not no millennial reign thing. This is what Yah's people need to become. Isaiah chapter 40, the voice of him crying in the wilderness, the way being prepared for Yah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley being exalted, every mountain and hill may be made low. The crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. The glory of Yahuwah shall be revealed. All flesh shall see it together. For out of the mouth Yahuwah has spoken it. See, all the glory of Yah being seen. Revelation 18. After these things, I saw another angel come down with great power. The earth was lightened with his glory. And they cried with a voice, he cried with a voice, Babylon is fallen, exposing Babylon, exposing the drunk ideas that has gotten the kings and the nations drunk, and calling them out so they won't partake in her sins. One more verse and then I'm going to explain. So Malachi chapter 4. Look at what it says. Remember this one? I will send you Elijah the prophet. We say this is John the Baptist. I say this was John the Baptist initially, but not fully. Just like I'm going to show you something else. It says here, remember the law of Moses. That means that people have lost the understanding of the Torah of Moses. And now Yah is bringing back the remembrance of the law, which he commanded in Horeb, with the statutes and judgments. How is he going to present that? By sending the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yah. This right here, even though John the Baptist was Elijah, the timing was not before the great and dreadful day of Yah. When Yahushua came, he didn't even come to condemn the world. This is our time. This is what we need to bring back into remembrance before the great and dreadful day of Yah. This is our time. So let me bring you back to Isaiah, another half verse that Messiah didn't even read this fully. Let me show you why. Isaiah 61, and I'm sorry, this is going to be the last one. I just don't want to be talking too long without showing you the verses. The Spirit of Yah has come upon me because Yah have anointed me to preach the good tidings unto the meek. He have sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, opening up the prisons to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yah. When Yahushua read this in the synagogue, he stopped right here. The reason being is when we teach the great, right before the great and dreadful day of Yah. So when we teach, this is when we include the day of vengeance of our Elohim. And then it says here, appoint to them that are mourn in Zion, to give for them beauty for ashes, oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of Yah, that he might be glorified. Remember we talked about the glory of Yah will be seen in the earth? It says here, they will build up the old waste places. Same thing that John the Baptist did. Crooked places straight, high places low. They shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the waste cities and desolations of many generations. The stranger shall stand and feed your flock, and the sons of the foreigner shall be the plowmen and vine dressers. You shall be named the priests of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the servants of Elohim, of our Elohim. You shall eat the riches of the nations, and in their glory shall you boast yourselves. So look at this. This is what we need to be. This is what we need to become. We need to become the people that deliver this. You can't deliver this message and you don't keep the law. You don't deliver this message, you don't understand the law. You don't deliver this message and you don't. What you don't want to happen is you don't want to be preached to with the possibility of rejecting something that's true. There has to be a diligence in you becoming the fulfillment of these verses. When they ask John, who are you? And he says, I'm one crying in the wilderness. We're supposed to be able to say, when they say, what are you doing? What's your ministry? What are you doing for Yah? There should be a verse that you pulling out to show this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Right before the dreadful day of Yah, I'm reminding people of the law of Moses that he gave on Horeb with the statutes and judgments. The Torah is coming out from Zion, and the word of Yah is coming out from Jerusalem. So I need to be understanding the things that's in the scripture. I need to give more energy and strength and time to understanding the word of Yah so I can become what Yah uses to spread this gospel to the nations. So if there's anything that we need to be looking for, we need to look at what we're becoming. We need to pursue the things that Yah wants us to become rather than looking at the stuff that's going to happen in the nations is going to happen in the nations. But the stuff that's going to happen with Yah's people may not happen with all people. You got to answer that call. You have to give yourself to that calling, to be a part of the completion of this work, and so that's literally on my heart, man. Lighten the earth with his glory. That's literally what I believe Yah's people collectively are supposed to be doing at this time. Nobody need to be looking for the one guy that's coming. We need to be looking for his people that's developing so we can finish the work that John the Baptist couldn't finish, to finish the work that Yahushua told us we would finish, the work that the apostles didn't finish. We are the ones that's finishing these things. We don't see nobody writing what we're doing. They didn't even see nobody writing what they were doing. Isaiah wasn't walking around with somebody saying, hey, write everything that you see happening. No, that was written about him after he did the work. John the Baptist didn't have no writer writing what he was doing. Even the Gospels, nobody was writing that while they were there. They wrote that after. So what do you think people are supposed to be doing with us? People are supposed to be talking about what we're doing after we're gone, if it takes that long. But if it's not written by them, Yah is going to have it on record. What we did. Just like Yah revealed what they did, Yah is going to reveal what we did. And so we need to finish this work together, but we need to be diligent in not only serving Yah and giving him our life, and then delivering this truth to everybody else. This is how the end is going to come. Matthew 24:14, it says, when this gospel of the kingdom goes to all the nation as a witness, then shall the end come. And I'm ready for this to end. I'm ready. I'm tired of seeing the people with the pain, and I'm tired of that. I'm ready to see this end, So this is what we're supposed to do. This is the diligence that we need to put in. When we come together and study, it's like we're trying to rightly divide this to the point where we got it down and now we can deliver it to everybody else. That's why we're coming together online, so we can get it down, packed and understanding in a simplistic way. We could teach it to our children, and we could teach it to the most scholarly person at the same time. That's what we're doing here today. That's what we're doing here every time we meet. You know what I mean? So praise Yah. If you believe in those prophecies, then this is something that we can actually go after and become. Let Yah develop us to become those things. We could talk about all the prophecies of the nations later on, but we definitely need to understand who is Yah, what is his law, what is his covenants, before we start going out telling people that the world is ending. It's not even going to end that way. It only ends when the Torah comes out of Zion to the nations. Then the nations will flow into it. When the Torah goes out properly, then the nations will flow into it. We don't tell the nations that the nations are going to be destroyed and then the end is going to come. It doesn't even work that way. When the message go out properly, then the end is going to come. And so we need to make sure we're giving the message out properly. And that's the Torah. It says in Isaiah 2. That's the law. It says in Malachi 4. It's the gospel. That's what it says in Matthew 24:14. And it ain't nothing about go tell everybody they're going to be destroyed. even though that's going to be a part of the news, but that's not the message. The message is you can be free from your sin. Don't partake in Babylon's sins. Don't follow Babylon's confusion. Come out of that confusion. That's what come out of her is. Come out of that confusion. Come out of that drunken state of following the wine of Babylon. Come out of those unlawful unions like the king fornicating with Babylon. No, separate yourself from Babylon. Separate yourself from that confusion. This is what we need to be a part of, prophecy wise. So praise Yah. We're gonna end with Charles. We're gonna come back tomorrow night at 9:30. Q&A is a little bit late, but we're on Assembly of Yahuwah at 8 o'clock. 9:30 we'll be back on 4LC, and then Saturday and Sunday 4LC University. We're going over Messiah, his origin, and we're gonna break it down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and join the membership. It definitely supports it. It promotes stuff like this. Thursday, hopping on, may be able to, the more people we get on the membership, we may be able to, it's my dream. My dream is every day, but with my wife, she's watching. She's lucky I don't do more. Brother Charles, go ahead, brother. You was gonna end.
Yeah, Deontay, this was your chance to get me. I done raised my hand 3 times. Supposed to be been on it. Like, you talking too much, Shaw. Hey, look, so what I was thinking about when you were talking about Babylon, it made me think about when y'all said, "Come out of her, my people, for her sins have reached unto heaven," and it
Right.
made me think of like Babylon, how it's one world system. Everybody trying to build up something
Yeah.
to make it to reach exalt themselves to the sky or to heaven.
Right.
And what it made me think about is that body of sin, that lawlessness is being built up like an actual person, a body of sin. And Yahusha is a body of righteousness that we are in, like Voltron. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, that Babylonian whore is being built up and Yahusha is being built up and his people,
all of it. It's all a part of the confusion.
Right.
Whatever could promote, whatever can maintain the confusion is what Babylon is. Is how can we keep the confusion? I could distort the law. I could distort Yahushua. I could distort Yah. I could take away the New Testament, and then you don't have Yahushua at all. I could take away the prophets, and you just have the Torah. I could send you back to Judaism. Whatever Satan is going to do to deceive and keep people away from the complete truth, which is why John the Baptist came to straighten everything out. That's why Elijah's coming. That's why the spirit of Elijah is coming in his people to straighten things out. Joel chapter 2. You know what I mean? His people, young men, young women, old women, everybody receiving that ruach to straighten everything out so the nations can hear things clearly. That's what they're going to flow into. Whatever Satan is going to do is just to keep us away from what Yah wants us to become. You know what I mean? And if he going to take the image of Yahushua, put a big white afro with fire coming out his eyes like he's 60 years old, whatever to keep you comfortable, that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah, because that's not
white guy with long hair, white afro, looking like he's 65 when he died when he was 30. Either way, it's just to keep you right where you are.
Yeah, yeah, because I was gonna say, man, that fallow ground. It was something about that fallow ground. Like Yahusha is the cornerstone that keep the foundation together. So this is a foundation of truth that we're able to stand on. This is what we go to show people what we stand on, what we believe. And they living in an illusion that they're standing on something, but it's actual deceit, and they're falling. Actually, going to be falling. And
Right.
All right, and it was something I was trying to remind myself so I can ask you to say something before I left, but man, I forgot just that quick. I'm always doing this, man. But
Yeah, write it
all right,
down.
yeah, I'm at work. I can't I can't write it
Okay,
down.
okay, okay. Yeah, but praise Yah, man. But keep that in mind. Fallow ground. That's a beautiful verse in Hosea. Break up the fallow ground. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Praise
we're gonna
y'all.
come together tomorrow night, and Saturday night, Sunday night. Yah willing, this will become more frequent, so we could be constantly encouraging one another. We don't have to be feeling alone during the week. Just like how Israel lived together, they were together, constantly encouraging each other every day. Yah willing, He could develop something like that with us. But praise Yah. Don't forget tomorrow's Q&As. Bring your questions, and Yah willing, Yah will show us in His Word everything that we need to understand. Shalom, Felicia. So you guys have a blessed night. Yah bless you guys.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, brother.